now it's on. Perfect. Hello and welcome to a pools game at USQ Cup 2025 between Chicago United and Boston Red Pandas. I'm Ben Zimmett here with Diego
Rojas
Godoy. I knew I was going to forget that. And this should be a fun one. Two pretty young teams, two pretty hungry teams going in here.
I mean, just based off their chance right now, it seems like they got a lot of energy.
Yeah, it should be a high intensity game. A lot of energy, a lot of talking. So should be a good one.
It's especially going to be nice seeing just how different these teams are in compared to the some of the older club teams.
Yeah.
Maybe we might see some different strategies, or
maybe
using their youth.
Yeah, a lot of transition, perhaps using that speed and that, and maybe a little bit of breakdown in some of the more high-tuned points of beater play can create a lot of transition opportunities for chasers throughout the course of a game.
And they got deep benches, so they definitely have the subs to go hard, go fast.
Yeah. Both of these teams, looks like Red Pandas have 17 rostered, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and that's that's 20 for Chicago United. So two of the bigger teams at this tournament. So it should give them good depth. And
especially this early when they don't have any injuries, don't have any potential lesions, no one's tired yet.
And it's always fun to see two teams from different regions get to sort of feel each other out. So
it's always unfortunate having to play against teams that you always play against at nationals.
Yeah.
Nationals is definitely fun, more fun when you're playing against teams from around the country.
Yeah. So Red Pandas comes into this game with a regular season record of 5-7. Chicago United with a regular season record of 2-4. So both of these teams, not super great results on the regular season, but that's the great thing about the Open Division here is you get to come play teams at your skill level and hopefully you get to compete and have really, really fun games.
Yeah, and if I was any better at math, I'd know what the proportion is of win-loss, or their win-loss ratio. All I know is that, yes.
Yeah, I mean,
all I know is that they've lost more than they won.
Yeah,
but
we don't need to do
not by too
fractions
much.
here. We're here to play Quadball, you know.
Oh. Looks like we're getting ready to start.
Yep. And it looks like Red Panda's preparing to start with Quadball, barring some sort of run, and Chicago United going to start with dodgeball control.
And also on defense.
Yep.
I like the cow hanging out in the back.
Yeah, that's I don't know if you can see on the live stream, it's the Brew Cities jersey cow print over there. That's a team out of Wisconsin.
I forgot that's Brew Cities.
Yeah.
I'll be playing them later.
So game's starting up now. Ball in the hands of Jose Cabrera, picked up now by Jade Gray, back to Cabrera.
Great aggression from 48 on Chicago.
Yep. And Harold Advincula there comes off broom while trying to make a beat, and it's going to allow Boston Red Pandas to gain control while still being on the attack, and that's a good shot from Jade Gray. They're a really quick player, a really skilled chaser for Red Pandas.
Not to mention shooting across the body is always a hard.
Yeah,
across the body while running away from the hoop.
At that side hoop, that's a high level shot for sure, and a quick stoppage here already. The refs will meet and talk over that last play.
No, from the get-go, I'm really liking.
Goal is no good. I think that they're just saying that shot missed. Is the call there? So maybe I guess a too high a degree of difficulty for Jade Gray there, but Red Pandas will reset and go again. Cabrera's been the main ball carrier for them so far, but gets beat.
All dodgeballs on the floor.
A little bit of chaos here. Hopefully, Red Panda's looking to capitalize on it. Behind, floats over the hoops to Jade Gray.
Ooh, that's a float.
Yeah, floated pass back to Ryan Silverman.
Against a defender, that is not a good play.
And pardon, that's Tammy Danielle, not Ryan Silverman. But Chicago United on the attack now. Tyler Piper.
Ooh, just over.
No good.
Ball's still live, though.
Ball's live. No collection on that from Red Pandas, but Jade Gray with the wrap.
Those long arms are keeping that chaser locked down.
And their keeper will come collect here. No dodgeballs in the play, interestingly, from either team.
Yeah, we got...
And so...
First? All right, we got... Yeah, so Chicago has control of the 2 dodgeballs.
Chicago with control. Pandas have time now to get their 1 beater in this play with... that's Amish Patel. And they will throw it back.
Yeah, they will.
And claimed by Jessa Bazia. High pressure, but tapped out. Amish tapped out. A good block from Matt Troy.
This Chicago keeper is doing a really good job of making the Pandas panic.
Yeah. And that's what Matt Troy does.
Wow.
Matt Troy is a big body, and he will just run through you and dunk on whatever hoop is in front of him. And that is what he does there to put Chicago United ahead. And a quick shot missed from Red Pandas.
Ball is still alive.
Beat missed from Chicago United there, but their beater will come collect. And this should be Chicago United ball.
Yeah, that's locked down pretty tightly.
And like you said earlier, these are young teams, and so with Tyler Piper being able to create that panic in potentially inexperienced chasers for Red Pandas is definitely key early.
It seems like the Pandas might need some beater support as they're coming up if they want to try to shut down that aggression from the keeper. Oh, strong beat, but
trading beats there, and Matt Troy, good wrap there from Peter Benson of Red Pandas, jarring the ball out from Matt Troy and preventing a goal.
We have a hoop that's down.
And good beat there from, that is Marshall Bell of Chicago United.
Definitely hurts whenever you get the beat that close to a goal.
Yeah, hurts literally too this early in the morning.
Yeah. You can hear it from here.
Yep. But again, good movement from Boston, freeing up space for a chaser by the hoop, but not enough beater support to take them out of the play. Piper running up with beater support here. An exchange by the hoops should maybe open up space, and Tyler Piper will push it through the medium hoop.
Chicago beaters have been going deep into Panda's defense.
Yeah, and that's been the difference here is both teams have run, I would say, pretty clean offenses, but it's been that sort of final space has been opened up by Chicago's beaters in a way that Boston's beaters haven't really been able to.
You definitely see some Pandas right now are looking like they want to. They're sitting around middle hoop or the medium hoop.
Yeah, maybe looking to attack there. It's an unarmed beater on one side by the short hoop for Pandas, but they're happy to sort of circulate right now and look for an opportunity.
Oof.
No good wrap there.
Hard contact.
And again, Chicago's beaters are just going to clean this up and maintain control. That was textbook there behind the hoops from Chicago's beaters.
Incredible accuracy too.
That's exactly what you want to end a play, is get quad ball back for your chasers and maintain control to support this offense.
It's going to be hard for Pandas to break through that defense with the current strategy they're running.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they're going to need more beater support, and right now they don't have it. Danny Yakub walking up with the ball now. Pushes across a little too far for their teammate, and that'll go out of bounds, Panda's ball. They'll look to press early, but should be able to just pass it to their keeper.
All right. So Chicago still has control.
Yeah, and
Seems like they might have new beaters in.
Chicago does. It is.
I think so.
It is. No, it's still Marshall Bell and. What is that player's number? That looks like
quick stop.
Liana Chirichimo. And a stoppage here as it looks like Chicago's got another stop. We'll see how the ref sorts this out, but.
Well, Chicago got the stop and they got control, but Pandas, with a young aggression, they were able to take the keeper back across the keeper line and cause a turnover.
Great play
That
there
kind
from
of play,
them, but,
hitting Chicago before they can set up an offense.
but Bradley Smith doesn't have very many options here with the ball.
No, there's a beater right behind him.
He'll probably just have to reset back to where he has beater protection near the half line.
Well, he does have a pretty open keeper.
And the ball gets handed now to
36.
Tabby Danyao. And
All right, good play there.
Yep, she will just pass it back to maintain possession here. That's a good play. And Pandas does have control. The shot from Danyao is no good. And another shot no good from Ryan Silverman there.
Those passes were good at making the Chicago defense run, but they do have a very tall team.
Yeah, and it's just not quite coming together right now. When they have control, their chasers aren't executing. When their chasers make good cuts, their beaters aren't quite finishing the play. We'll see how that, it's the first game of the day. They're still feeling it out.
Yeah. It does seem like Pandas just lost control of the dodgeball.
And a good pump and a good block.
Wow.
That's Tabby Danyao with the stuff on the medium hoop there.
Kevin definitely tried to add some flair to that goal, and it did not work out.
No, that's got the pump fake off to freeze the defense for a second, but could not finish one-on-one. Interesting here that Chicago United is playing their keeper on the hoops instead of up top in their 2-2. That is sort of unusual because you often want to have your keeper applying ball pressure. That player was for sure beat. Bradley Smith will turn this ball over and maybe get a blue card in the process. We'll see what happens. It'll at least be Chicago United ball, I would imagine.
Oh, definitely. If it's not, then they still have their beaters right there next to, next to the closest pain of chasers.
And we keep talking about them being a young, inexperienced team, but these Chicago beaters are playing really well, playing really solid.
Yeah, these are still club teams. A lot of them already played a lot of years in college. They've been around for a bit.
And Chicago United certainly has some vets on their roster too, as does Pandas. These are young teams, but they are not without veteran leadership.
We just have some very old teams on throughout this tournament as well.
Yes, for sure. Kevin Farley now for Chicago United. Hands off to Danny Yakub. Looking to create headway. A quick, that pass just
Good
floated
block.
a little bit and should have a run out now. That is, no good. A great beat by Chicago on, who was that for? That was Jake Pilati for Red Pandas. Looks to have a clear fast break, and then at the last second just felt that ball graze his arm. Not
just a beat, but that dodgeball hit the hoop that he was aiming for.
Just a snipe from Chicago there.
What an incredible... That would have been such a good play for Pandas, but an incredible defense for Chicago.
That's one of the worst feelings as a chaser. You have a one-on-nothing fast break, and suddenly that ball grazes your body, and you go, oh, no, I got it.
But as a beater, when you get those kinds of beats, incredible.
Yeah. YouTube walking up again. Chicago United has been pretty content to play in the half court here on offense.
Both their beaters are pretty up high. They're past the keeper line.
The shot no good from Yakub.
We're getting a lot of floating passes from these two teams.
The wind, the rain earlier, something is preventing these passes from being as crisp as they normally would be from these teams.
And again, with the height on a lot of these defenders, for both teams even.
Can I get a time check, please? 9:26. Thank you.
And that is Jung Yu up to Pilati for Pandas. And a block there on the short hoop.
Shooting on a trees defense is definitely an interesting choice.
Yeah, that could be some of the inexperience showing up. Firing a ball into trees is not always what you want to be doing.
For those that are unaware, trees is the type of defense that you play when you're playing against a team that likes to shoot. So
yep, that is a player posted up on each hoop, hands up, with their sole goal being to prevent the ball from going through that hoop. And another good block there, Bradley.
Oh, and a recovery from Chicago, but a beat.
But good beat from Boston, and they will collect. Chicago retains dodgeball control, so they will just be compact on defense. They've switched out of that trees defense now into a 2-2. So
and it looks like Pandas does have dodgeball control now, but they are not active in this offense.
Looks like a missed beat from Chicago there. Good defense.
Oh, still going though, but that dog pile is going to start.
That is Sprig Green with really tenacious block and wrap there on Jung Yu.
It's going to be interesting to see how Pandas does with defense and control.
Yeah, they haven't been able to have dodgeball control playing defense much. Their chasers have done a good job. Good wrap from the beaters. Brady Charles jumps over a beat there and passes the ball back across.
Oh.
Nevin O'Donnell breaks a tackle and scores. That's one of the vets on the Chicago team is Nevin O'Donnell, and
you can see that experience in play.
And gets the tip on the defense there, but that'll be Pandas' ball off the inbound. Bradley Smith passes it back up top. Jake Pilati now slowing the ball down.
Both teams have had time to reset, try again.
Go behind.
And Boston playing offense with control, but keeping a ball out of the play, back by their hoops to try to play defense. And there, Boston unable to dunk through a few Chicago United defenders at the small hoop.
That's definitely a strategy you want to play if you're worried about fast breaks, but it doesn't seem like Chicago. Ooh, good jump from the Chicago beater.
And a fast break now, and another beat before another really well-timed beat from Chicago. This time it was Jung Yu with the potential fast break, but once again, Chicago beaters in the nick of time.
When put under pressure, they are insanely good with their accuracy.
Yeah, that is not an easy throw in this wind to hit from 15, 20 yards.
Yeah. Okay, let's see. Chicago does have control again.
Yep. Brady Charles initiating the offense here. We got some beaters posturing, but not really making any moves up top here. And there, they need beater support.
Oh.
And a good beat from Marshall Bell. And
looks like there's some fight.
Looks like Chicago United tried to beat the Pandas keeper.
If the keeper was in any way across that keeper line, then that would have been a valid beat.
Yeah, we'll see what they call here. Cabrera was certainly arguing that he was in the zone when that beat was thrown, which would make him an ineligible target. But at least for right now, Chicago's holding the quad ball.
Yeah. Although that player did get hit by the dodgeball thrown by Pandas. But it was before the whistle, but after this potential beat on a keeper. So it'll be interesting how that plays out.
Okay, so it looks like the ref there was enforcing a back to hoops call on Cabrera.
Right,
and so play will reset now with Chicago United having possession. Marshall Bell for Chicago United has been out for a long time. He's taking a long shifted beater here. The ball goes behind, now to Nevin on the side, defended by
in the
Cabrera.
corner. Oh, and ball is out. Ball's recovered by Chicago United. And we have a stop.
Cabrera claiming that they stepped out of bounds, but got to play to the whistle there.
Yeah, definitely don't want to be making ref calls.
But it will be Pandas ball.
Oh boy, what?
A cheap turnover there from Pandas, just trying to toss the ball back to their keeper and ends up turning it back over to Chicago United. So they'll get a free possession out of this and look to work.
Good catch
from Matt Johnson.
Oh, but
And then a good beat from Marshall Bell. And a goal for Chicago United.
It was a very long offense, but it worked out in Chicago's
and
favor.
That turnover from Pandas proving costly.
Yeah, we really got to be careful with those, with any sort of throws in your own defensive
And that
zone.
was Amy Zazadinsky with the goal for Chicago. And she will pick up the ball now and look to run. Finds Brady Charles, a hoop knocked over by a Pandas beater, but Charles will finish anyway.
That dodgeball is rolling away.
See what the call is? Goal is good. It looked like the Pandas beater might have obstructed the hoop there, but Charles didn't care, just scored on the other one. And
Then you play with the cards you're dealt.
can I get a score check? Ooh, so it is 5-0 now to Chicago United.
Low-scoring game.
It's a low-scoring game, but it hasn't felt that dominant from Chicago United. It's extremely timely beating from Chicago. Good defense. Boston just hasn't quite been able to finish.
Yeah, with just a second or two difference, Boston would have had a lot more goals.
And another cheap turnover caused by beater pressure from Marshall Bell.
Again, creating this chaos and this panic right at the beginning of a team's offense can really throw them off.
And Amy Zazadinsky again there behind the hoops to catch and score. Very calm. Has looked really good on offense over the past couple possessions. And a timeout, as to be expected from Red Pandas here. They're suddenly down 6-0. This game's getting out of hand for them.
Yeah, still not out of it, but definitely need to change things up now if they want to stay in it.
And I think the most important thing for them is they have to find a way to alleviate the beater pressure from Marshall Bell.
Yeah.
Earlier it was Tyler Piper, the keeper, initiating that pressure. Right now it's the beaters, just not letting them out of their keeper zone, not letting them initiate offense how they want to. And they're getting shut out because of it.
They also need to try to, even if the Panda beaters don't have control, do something to distract or throw off those Chicago beaters on Chicago defense, because they've been getting a lot of last-minute saves because of those beaters.
Right, like even if it's not.
If it buys them a second or two, yeah.
Yeah, even if it's not fully getting control back, even if it's not creating easy opportunities for your chasers, it's at least not getting them beat all the time.
Exactly. And if they're targeting a beater with a beat or with a dodgeball, then that's one less dodgeball flying at a chaser.
Yep.
And at the end of the day, chasers win points.
Can't unscore a goal. So both teams will talk this over here. What's the time right now? What's the time?
I'll send you $1. You ask me.
14:55.
So almost 15 minutes into this game, approaching flag runner on pitch here. And the thing about this, though, is that because it's such a low-scoring game, Pandas are getting shut out, but a flag catch gets them right back in this game.
Especially with if they can get a couple goals at this time, they are well in this.
Yeah, so if they can reduce this deficit just a little bit in the next 5 minutes, they could be in a much better position going into flag runner on pitch.
And we are getting a bit of a drizzle. I don't know if it's Pandas tears or
Either way, could make things a little bit messier going forward in this game. Passing is not going to be as consistent.
yeah, and already with those hospital passes or hospital lobs.
Yep.
All right,
Zazadinsky now to Troy.
we do have Vidisha on Red Pandas, creating a distraction, making sure that Chicago beater can't play into that offense.
Oh, and a great catch from Marshall Bell because Pandas was about to get control.
That was real close for Pandas, but it does buy time for their Pandas chasers to try to stop or distract that Chicago offense.
And that is a shot, no good, but collected by Matt Troy and dunked.
Also, shout out to Vidisha's mom. I know you're watching. How you doing?
Love to see parents coming and supporting here. Especially for club teams. Adults can have supportive parents too. My parents are here at this tournament actually.
My parents will be waiting for my text updates about how my team does. We are not getting live streamed, so.
Pandas moving the ball behind now. That's a shot. Oh, good.
Just
good. And now Chicago will look to run again.
A good wrap.
Boom now though from Cabrera,
but it bought some time.
Piper will dish to Zazadinsky and score again, and that's a hat trick for Zazadinsky there, as she's indicating with the 3 fingers held aloft.
But that's out of 7 goals at this point.
Yeah, she's been a real finisher for them.
Yeah. Sorry, 8-0.
8. Wow. Yeah, so instead of Pandas clawing a few goals back, it's been the other direction of Chicago extending their lead.
After a certain point, it's going to have to it's going to require some big changes if Pandas want to still win this.
Yeah, and flag runner on pitch can really change the course of a game, but 8 goals is a large differential to make up, especially when Chicago United has looked to have the athletic advantage in this game.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if Chicago sends all their dodgeballs towards the flag runner. That might buy Pandas chasers some time and opportunities to get some goals in. Yeah,
4-on-4 can really change the complexion of the chaser game. But Chicago United has a lot of big bodies. They have a lot of people who can drive through one-on-one. And during FOP, you get a lot of one-on-one looks.
Yes.
As a chaser.
Less beater attention means that it's going to come down to chaser v chaser skills.
Yep. And we just haven't seen a ton of physicality from Pandas. As I say that though,
you manifested it.
A really nice wrap up there, a team effort, and Pandas will look to run now.
This could be Pandas' first, and that is the Pandas' first goal.
A fast break, and the Chicago keeper Piper there wasn't quite able to get over, and that is Logan Packard, I believe, with the goal there for Pandas.
18:30.
We're at 18:30, a minute 30 left until we have a flag runner.
So now for both teams, it's about trying to maintain dodgeball control going into flag runner on pitch.
We'll probably only have like somewhere between 2 and 4 possessions.
And a lot of exchanges happening to get that dodgeball control. Meanwhile, a turnover.
Are we going to have another fast break?
And and that will be a card, I believe.
That was definitely a hard hit.
A hard hit.
It might have been some head contact.
I think they're going to call neck contact.
50! Contact!
Yep. So that is Matt Troy headed to the box there. He is shaking his head in disagreement, but that looked pretty textbook to me. I'm not surprised at that call. And now Pandas will get the opportunity to play a player up for the next minute or until they score.
They have one chaser on defense in the way. Oh, and it is a good goal.
Good dish from Packard over to Peter Benson for the goal.
I believe we're at 2-8. Right? I assume so.
Score check.
2-8.
8-2 to Chicago there.
So good with numbers.
19:30.
30 seconds left. We'll see if Chicago tries to hold for last possession here. They are back at full strength because of the Boston goal. but Troy has subbed out after the penalty. Danny Yakub bringing the ball up here.
Back to a 6-6.
7, 6, 5, 4, 3.
So that's a really badly timed turnover for Chicago.
And
Because suddenly Boston's going to get a gift possession and go down and score. And it's 8-3. Like
8-3. Like, again, Pandas changing up a little bit and getting some goals in. They are still very much in this.
Yeah.
With a catch and no other changes to the score, they'd be at 6-8.
So a flurry of goals here for Pandas, and that is such a costly turnover at, 1957
Yep.
for Chicago. You cannot turn the ball over at that time period and give the other team a free possession when you could have just held for 3 seconds.
When you hear that last 10-second countdown, you want to do everything you can to be holding the ball. Not even avoid scoring before that countdown, because that can end in a possession for the other team.
Yeah, and you'll often see teams around the 20-minute mark even draw their beaters out of the play just to maintain control going into 20 minutes, and I believe it's going to be Pandas with control here. All 3 dodgeballs by Pandas hoops.
Yep. Potentially making a no-beater situation for Chicago's offense coming in.
Yeah, this could definitely get messy around the hoops right at the restart here.
Now it seems like we have 52 on Chicago. Kevin Farley is going to be their seeker.
And I believe I saw Jade Gray taking seeker reps for Boston, and Harold Advincula also.
Yes.
Accomplished, decorated seeker for them.
Got a bit of the ref crew crashing in on our live stream. Got a bit of the ref crew crashing in.
Yeah, I mean, this has been such an interesting game. It's really so much of the game was, at least score-wise, dominated by Chicago United. Just playing great defense, playing great beater play, not letting Boston see any opportunities, and they just lost concentration a little bit.
Yeah, like you said a little bit ago, though, this game hasn't felt like it's been completely one-sided or that it's a complete destruction for the losing team. It does feel like we saw with these past few minutes, Pandas has a solid chance at getting back into this.
So it will be Kevin Farley and Jade Gray seeking to start. Both talented seekers, so this is going to depend a lot on beater play. And so far, Chicago has had the advantage in that area.
Speaking of which, though, Chicago will not be starting this next period with a dodgeball in possession. Like you mentioned, it is all the way at Pandas hoops.
Wow.
So if Pandas play this right, they can make sure that Chicago does not have any sort of control.
You'd imagine Pandas are going to look to press here in the 10 seconds before seekers are released to try to get a quick turnover because Chicago has no dodgeballs anywhere near the play, like you said.
If they can get a turnover at keeper line, or maybe they send one of their beaters up to help with this early push.
Yeah, I think the ideal situation for them here would be to cause a quick turnover on the quadball game and then go straight into the flag runner game.
And that would take it to a 4-8.
We'll see what they do, though. Their beaters are going straight for the flag runner. So they are not bothering with this quad ball game, and they are going to go tap out Kevin Farley as soon as he gets onto the field.
All right, an attempt at a dodge and a swat from Kevin, but
yep, he's got to be careful with the swat on second contact there. But Danny Yakub now running against Bradley Smith.
Pandas maintaining possession.
Beats him, but then turns the ball over. And Cabrera will walk it out of the keeper zone for Pandas. And a good one-on-one tackle from McHugh, but maybe a foul on the tackle there.
Oh, yep. And Chicago knows what they did.
Yep, no argument there from McHugh.
Nah, it happens.
Yep, nothing dirty in that play, but sometimes you just get on the wrong side of somebody.
Yeah.
So Pandas a chaser up, which is huge in FOP because suddenly now you're playing 4-on-3 with no beaters in the play, and they will capitalize on that opportunity with a Bradley Smith goal. So that is 8-4.
Chicago Beater has gotten possession of the third dodgeball, but trapped behind. It is a trade.
And that's a trade that might allow Chicago to get balls back.
Oh, but
that is
another trade.
Tough exchange there for a Chicago Beater.
And Pandas with the quick catch.
And key there.
That has to be good.
The Chicago Beater did not throw that ball back.
No.
So all of the dodgeballs are still by Pandas hoops.
At that point, that Chicago Beater, the first priority was get that other dodgeball back to their home hoops.
You need it back to your hoops. You need to be able to play defense because even if this catch is good, Pandas can once again go and straight press this quad ball.
And like you mentioned, with this trade, good catch for Pandas.
Gray with a huge catch for Pandas, and it's an 80-75 game now.
Like we said, this is a close game. There's not been one team or another that's been too dominant. Right.
875.
And you see just how quickly this can change. A couple of really good beater exchanges from Pandas, and maybe some mistakes from rare mistakes from the Chicago Beaters. And suddenly we'll see this game is changing very quickly as they're going to look to exert beater pressure, but they
some friendly
hit their
fire.
own player, and so that's going to allow Chicago to stall a little bit longer here. Oh, an injured player for Pandas.
It seems like there was, I think it was impact from the wrap. I'm not sure if the wrap would have been an illegal hit or...
But hopefully they're okay. As we'll take a stoppage here to get a trainer on the field and get them some attention.
I believe the trainer is incoming. Luckily, we have a medical tent right next door.
Yep, lucky to have some wonderful medical staff on hand here to make sure that everybody's all right and able to hopefully play the rest of the day. If not, at least be all right. Quadball can be a little bit of a dangerous sport.
It's a full contact sport, and it's got a very interesting way that contact can happen, which I've talked with a lot of players that play rugby and football, and in those sports, a lot of times the contact can be safer just based on the rulings or based on the specific ways that they're allowed to make contact.
Yeah.
We try our best to make some rules that make contact safer, but things happen every now and then.
Yeah, and I think Quadball largely has done a pretty good job over the last few years of trying to officiate contact in a way that allows especially smaller players to be able to compete and be able to play hard and be physical without getting hurt. But obviously you can't prevent everything.
I never remember in my first few years playing this sport, a lot of concussions on our team, especially with the smaller players.
Yeah,
and luckily that's been much more rare relatively.
Yeah, with you used to only be able to tackle with one arm, and that led to a lot of physicality and a lot of players just driving through people indiscriminately. Now with wraps it's a lot easier to navigate that size differential with two-arm wraps.
And with two-arm wraps, you can make sure that you're in control of the person as you're going down and not just with one arm potentially flinging them one way or another. I know as a bigger person myself, whenever I try to wrap up on people, I tend to use myself as a cushion if I'm bringing them down, or just make sure that I'm holding on to them and not letting them just fly onto the ground.
And good to see Jess Abazia up and moving. Looks like they're going to be okay. We'll see if they stay in the game or not. I'd imagine they'll take a sub.
Yes, absolutely. I think anytime that there's a stoppage for an injury or potential injury, the player must take a sub.
That's true.
Even if they sub right back in afterwards, it's better safe than sorry.
Yep. But good to see them walk off of the field under their own power.
Exactly. Applauses from both teams and the ref crew.
But back when we stopped, there was a player wrapped up for Chicago United in the middle of the pitch, sort of in a stalemate with one of the Boston Chasers. So we'll see how they legislate that.
That would be a tough one to call.
I imagine they're going to say that Cabrera is not allowed to make contact here with the Chicago United player until the restart, and just put them standing very close to each other.
That would make the most sense, because you don't want to also give Cabrera the unfair advantage of making sure that he has a good.
No, they're going to let Cabrera get hands on the ball here. They're going to say that possession was shared, and so both players are going to be able to immediately wrestle for control of the ball. And we're back in that stalemate. Somebody's gonna need beater help, I would imagine here. Pandas with much more players in play, but it's Chicago who has the beaters, and they're gonna be able
Chicago's
to
lost control.
They've lost control, but they do have the ball, the quad ball that is, and
Pandas beaters are pushing up high just to make sure.
And this is gonna be a quick fast break, but a good tackle from Danny Yakub to stop that play in its tracks, and Chicago beaters are going to be able to clean up.
All right. Pandas maintains control, which I think has been some of the big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. A big part of this momentum switch has been improved beater play from Pandas.
64 on Pandas, making sure that his defense has more time to to set up a defense.
Yeah, and that can often be the point of a lone chaser press. You're not often going to actually create a turnover off of pressing with one chaser, but it's to give your defense more time, to give your beaters time to set up. A beater wrap here in the center of the pitch that's going to end with, they were beat from behind. Don't argue that.
Right, good catch on one of the beats by
the other. With the other ball from behind. And Chicago United does throw back here. We've got a stoppage.
This second half has definitely had a lot more stoppages than before Secret Floor.
It's been pretty chaotic. It's been a lot of wraps that aren't being sorted out by beater play. A lot of beater exchanges outside of the quaffle game.
Gotta say, this second half has been a much more interesting watch, because we are seeing both teams have their successes and have their smart plays.
Yeah, and Boston's trying to play in transition a lot more, and it works out for them there with Bradley Smith off a great feed from Tabby Daniel.
But that was a hard hit to the head. Yeah, I'm totally fine, but I should get checked out.
Hey, it's time.
85. Thank you.
And it's a tie game, son.
Yeah, with a good goal there. 85-80 in favor of Pandas.
That is 85 unanswered points from Pandas.
Yeah, that's true.
It was 80-0 in this game, and they have run off 85 unanswered points. So
both teams, in a sense, going 8-0.
Yeah, it's been a game of runs here. So now going into the home stretch with set score at 140, we're playing first to 6. So we'll see what team is able to go on the next run here. Nevin O'Donnell driving in and missing over the hoops. Able to be collected by Danny Yakub, though.
And
over the hoops again, no good, and collected by Pandas. That is Peter Benson for Pandas. One dodgeball back on defense for Chicago United.
Pandas bringing up a beater up high, and it is working.
And that'll be a beat and a turnover by Pandas. Good beating from Chicago there, and that's what they're going to need to come and win this game.
Oh, that's in this one?
We'll see here. So I think we're going to...
It was just a hard hit to the head.
I think... Yep, Peter Benson's going to get called for contact from behind on Nevin O'Donnell there, so he will be in the box. There was a Chicago United beater to clean that play up anyway, but a good effort from Benson trying to get the Chicago keeper back across the line for a turnover.
Yeah, like you said, that lone chaser can make or break an offense.
And that's why it's so important to have support for your keeper when they're coming out of the keeper zone, because that is the most precarious place on the field. You cannot move backwards, you cannot move sideways. You need to advance out of the keeper zone, and so it can create an easy pressure opportunity.
Pandas are sitting with control.
Yeah, down a chaser, but with control.
Ooh.
And they will create a turnover here.
Recovery
and an injured Chicago United player here. Looked like they just went over somebody's back trying to get to that quad ball.
Standing up of their own volition, but definitely going to take that.
That's Marshall Bell, a beater who just sort of got caught in the crossfire of the chaser play.
Ooh.
And looks to be in some pain here. Oh, maybe in a sensitive area.
Yep. It might not be winter anymore, but we can always watch the Nutcracker here.
Yeah.
At USQ.
That is always, you hate to see that, but I'll take a sub and we'll keep going here. I believe Pandas is going to get this quad ball and be able to start an offense.
Yes.
And that one stop is...
Yes.
How long into it is it?
We need 6 more goals from both teams, or first team to 6.
And this will be a good opportunity for Pandas to potentially kill a little bit of time on this penalty and maybe score a goal too. Good wrap there from Nevin O'Donnell. But Pandas maintaining possession. Good job by, I believe that's Tabby Danyao to maintain possession for her team. And a beater there going for the beater play instead of going for the chaser with the ball. And Tabby Danyao is going to wrestle her arms free of a wrap and score. And it is 95-80 Red Pandas.
It's definitely easy as a beater to fall into that tunnel vision and forget Quadball wins points. You can have a perfect beater game, but at the end of the day, beaters do not score.
And Tabby Danyao here has been key for Pandas in this comeback. Scoring goals, playing great defense, making good passes. Just really, really smart player.
And we do have some slight contact coming up on that offense.
Chicago United has been resorting to these sort of hit and hope shots from the top that have been mostly going over the hoops and giving Pandas the ball back.
Pandas beater did have a very fortunate block there, making sure that they didn't end up beat.
Sometimes better lucky than good.
Yes.
Pandas will look to press this Chicago defense now. Derek Wagner up top with the ball. Pump fakes, passes before they get beat.
And we got one Panda right there. Oh, and a good
block.
block.
And good goal.
That was a gentle and delicate goal, and it worked beautifully.
Just a soft flip through the tall hoop for Peter Benson there after a good block of the dodgeball.
Having an opposing chaser sitting there right next to that hoop for that long unopposed is definitely a poor choice on the defensive side.
Yeah, you'd hope to see maybe a tap from a beater by that hoop, or
even another chaser getting in their face, getting ready to shift up.
You're right. You really can't let Pandas catch the ball there in that spot. Brady Charles now behind, looking to make a move on Peter Benson, but instead passes back up top to Piper, who shoots, and it's going to be put. Oh,
no goal.
No good is the call, but the ball is still live for Charles here. Pump fakes.
And that's a good goal for
that did not look like it went through the hoop. The refs will convene here. Brady Charles is a player that I've played with last summer, and really good player, really athletic, really quick. Does sometimes have a tendency to, lose focus on shots and fire shots from close above the hoops, and that's what he did there, I believe.
I could imagine in this scenario where after starting so dominantly, Chicago just hasn't been able to maintain their defense or their offense. That could be getting to their morale.
Yeah, it's a
and
test
getting
of
in
their
heads.
mentality for sure.
After review, first shot attempt was good.
Okay, so they're going to call the first shot good from Chicago United there, which was,
According to the refs, it was the green guy.
No, he got it.
so that was a shot fired in from Piper and maybe a touch from Sprig Green. I'm not entirely sure, but either way, good goal for Chicago United. Their first goal in probably 20 minutes of game time. Like, not that long, but
It's definitely been a while.
But it's been a while for Chicago United, but they're back on the scoreboard now. And now we'll look to play tough defense here. But Peter Benson just jukes his way through the defense and scores again.
It feels like this is an entirely different. That this Pandas team has gone from not really meshing well together to now moving like a well-oiled machine.
Yeah, and Chicago United's defense, which looked so stalwart early in the game, is suddenly bleeding points a little bit.
I think that drizzle that we had a bit ago might have been the decision maker.
They just needed some water. The rain has now since abated. The field is still probably pretty damp, I would imagine. And no goal for Chicago. Combination of the hoops and Red Pandas defenders making sure that was a turnover. And a ball just narrowly dropped by Tabby Daniel there, but she'll maintain possession. Wrapped up by Piper, and Chicago Beaters will clean this up.
I'm slightly surprised. From my angle, it did kind of look like that might have been back contact, but the refs did not call it.
I think what the refs are going to say there is that the contact was initiated from the front and then never released, even though Piper did end up on the back of Daniel there. So Chicago United now need to find answers on half-court offense here. They have not been able to break down this Pandas 2-2, and again they don't. It's a block from Benson, and he will collect.
Again, shooting on that tree defense is a choice, to say the least.
I think they were actually in twos there, but even then they had a lot of length on the hoops. I'm not sure that early shot, that early possession half-court shot has been working out for Chicago United, and maybe no foul on the play. Just a turnover to Chicago United.
Pandas, we're running a 1.5 defense or 1.5 offense there.
And could you quickly run through what that is for people who aren't familiar?
So a 1.5 is when your team has control of the two dodgeballs, but leaves one of them back on their side of the field, protected by another beater. So that then, technically, you're in possession of two dodgeballs, but out of the players actively holding the dodgeballs, there's only one on your team that does, forcing the other team to not be able to use their immunity call and only use that one dodgeball.
And it's often a strategy employed to try to get dodgeballs on the ground during offensive possessions. In the meantime, it was Jake Pilati running what looked to be a fast break, but not able to quite finish there, and Chicago United will inbound. A little hard to see on that side of the field. We'll sort this out here.
We could score 11. 11. Thank you.
So it is 115 Red Pandas to 90 Chicago United.
And you said we're playing to 140.
140 is set.
3 more goals for Pandas, and they can
2,000.
They can recover this.
Yellow card. Second foul play. That's rough. Chicago, number 15.
So So Chicago will get the quad ball here off of a back contact penalty from Jung Young Yu and an unsporting conduct penalty from Matt Troy. And Chicago United will take their timeout here because time is running out for them now.
Yeah.
They need to figure out something quickly, especially on offense. Their defense has still looked physical, has still looked like competitive. Their offense has really just been early shots at covered hoops.
The sheer difference in the beater play, where it doesn't feel like since the flag runner came onto the field, it doesn't seem like Chicago has had control of the dodgeballs, and that's been a huge factor in how poorly the offenses have been going.
Oh yeah.
And Marshall Bell is somebody for Chicago who is dominating the early game and really creating easy opportunities for Chicago, and it just has not been the same way since 20 minutes.
Now, all this said, Chicago is also not out of this. Just 2 goals away from tying up with Pandas, and 5 goals away from a win if they can get there.
Yep, certainly, and I think that's the reasoning behind this timeout here. Is I think that's going to be the coaching message: is hey, we're not out of this game. We're close. We're playing well. We need to execute better on offense. We need to make smarter decisions as beaters. And we didn't talk about those fouls so much, but an unsporting conduct foul on Chicago United is not something that you want to give up in this kind of game.
Absolutely not. It can also be very indicative of the type of morale or the mindset that those players might be feeling.
Yeah, some frustration boiling over, perhaps.
That we won this game first, okay?
The question will be, can Pandas maintain this improved morale, or can Chicago reset their minds and find that confidence that they had at the beginning of this game?
It's been a game of momentum, a game of runs. We saw Boston timeout really help spark this comeback for them. So we'll see if the Chicago United timeout can do the same. Ball now with Amy Zazadinsky, who was a key part of that early success for Chicago United, getting 3 goals.
Oh. So we're not live anymore? Oh, we're not live.
All right.
Well.